Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Village Hall in downtown Fredonia, New York. I'm Mayor Mike Ferguson. We're opening up the workshop for today, January 6, 2025 at 5 p.m. We call a roll. Trustee Esperson.
Here.
Trustee Brockler. Here. Trustee Syracuse.
Here. For
Trustee
clarification,
Wandell.
it's 6 p.m.
Pardon?
It's 6 p.m.
It is 6 p.m., right? And Trustee Twitchell.
Here.
Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get too comfortable, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we have to go back into executive session for a short period of time. Can we have a motion to go back into executive session?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I second.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll try to make this as quickly as possible. Delay. Resolutions. We're all here, right? 1, call for a public hearing for local law number 1 of 2025, local law opting out of the exemption from taxation under section 487 of the real estate or real property tax law for the Village of Fredonia. Any discussion? Number 2, call for a public hearing for local law number 2 of 2025, local law regulating the installation, placement of solar equipment and systems in the Village of Fredonia. Any discussion?
Do I honestly have to read through the entire law?
No.
Okay.
You do not. As long as it's in the minutes and the agenda, the public has access to it. You do not have to read it.
Perfect.
Number 3, procedures for submitting all resolutions. Number 4, NICOM winter legislative meeting approval.
Yeah, I had a question on that. It says, the resolution states that the cost of the conference will be covered by each individual attending. That should include room and conference, right?
So anything related to that conference we'll pay for individually, right?
Correct.
I won't be attending that. Number 5, official newspaper. Number 6, official banks. Number 7, approval of appointed/reappointed village officials.
So for this one, we have to add the fire chief. He wasn't on last year, so when it was copied over to this year, because he was still only provisional at the beginning of last year, so he has to be added to the list.
Number 8, appointment of village treasurer. Number 9, appointment of village clerk. Number 10, Rexford Services approval. Number 11, abstracts approval.
I'm sorry, Mayor, the Rexford Services approval? Trying to remind myself about that one.
Should
It's
be.
for a dump truck at the DPW, a plow
Is
truck.
that what it is?
You know,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's
Move
not
out there in
there.
that storm.
Oh, I remember now. Thank you, Scott.
Did we hear anything about if our repair costs are gonna be covered?
There's been no release of any money.
Okay.
And number 12, finally, training request from fire chief. Any question on any of those resolutions before we move to department reports? If not, we move to department reports, code enforcement office.
Just closing out our books for last year, getting ready to do our reports to the state. No zoning board meeting this month, we do a planning board work session for new big commercial battery storage facilities. Somebody's gonna come in and talk to us about those, what that's about and stuff. And the board wants to come, I think it's gonna be the 21st, to hear about that. There's a lot of taxes on that, so that's something that we wanna look at. And there's a site on the end of Commercial Street, right across from where the solar project wants to go, that they wanna do a commercial battery. So I was gonna offer to the fire chief and stuff, and the village board, anybody who wants to learn about it. The representative's gonna come in and talk to us about it, because none of us really had that much training on it, so.
Can you remind me about that date when you get a chance?
I'll send an email out,
Thank you.
if I can figure out my email.
Do you think the meeting will go past 6
I
that day?
gotta talk to Brian, I'm not sure.
Because that's the
I might see
same,
if I can get it started at 5.
First.
that'd be great,
And
okay.
then, yeah, hopefully it won't take
Okay,
real, cause we'll start here at 6 o'clock.
yeah,
Yeah, cause usually we start at 5:30.
I know.
That's gonna be on Tuesday.
yeah.
Chuck, is this the same type of battery storage they want to do in Dunkirk? Do you know?
I'm not familiar with what they wanna do in Dunkirk, but I would say probably, yes. It's a big, push on those now.
Is that where they buy the electric cheap during the night and sell it for more money during the day?
I'm not sure, I really can't
Okay.
speak about
We can
that.
take a look into that. Thank you.
Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you. DPW.
Yeah, so we got that dump truck back. Everything seems to be working as of now. That first storm was pretty rough on us. We had 2 trucks go down. We swapped one out with another one. We've gotten this last truck fixed, so we're back up to, all our equipment's running right now. I'm hoping that the winter isn't as harsh as it started, because we're gonna be up against it for sure. And we've been busy chasing water breaks. We had a big one New Year's Eve. It stirred up the whole system. I got a lot of complaints. We had not as many complaints, but concerns. We had some dirty water. We flushed, tried to clear everything out, so hopefully that slows down as well. But other than that, that's about it.
Thank you. Fire department.
Just wrapping up the end of the 2024 annual report, be in your packet next meeting, the 20th, for you guys to review that. And then today I had a annual meeting with the EMS billing company, so subsequently sent everyone an email. That's all I have.
Police department.
The only thing I have is we've had a recent retirement, and we have still been unable to fill a dispatcher's position. There's currently an academy in session. So for consideration, I request that the village board consider allowing us to canvass, or call for the canvass of the police patrolmen's list to see if anybody on that list is currently in the academy and if there's anybody that we could possibly hire.
Is dispatcher a civil service?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else, Chief?
No, not tonight.
Thank you. Michelle, do you have anything in the recreation department?
No, I don't have anything
Okay.
today.
wastewater treatment plant. David?
We completed the annual sludge survey, and that's turned into the DEC. The heater block and the improvements to the battery charging system is complete for our Headworks generator, and everything turned out well with that. We are continuing to work on cleaning out our clear well. It's a slow process, but we are making some progress with that. And we are all set up for our 5-year wet testing, and that's going to be starting next week. That's all I have.
Thank you.
David, do you have any updates? Last time you reported on 2 grid pumps at the head end. You had some issues going on.
Yeah, we, there's like, in the one there's a hole in there, we like patched it up. The patch is holding, but we have been working on getting prices and figuring out exactly what type of pumps we need. There's, with them being so old, there's not a exact replacement, or it's hard to find exact replacements. So we're in the process of gathering information to see how we can move forward with that.
Good.
Thank you. Water treatment plant.
I have nothing at this time.
New business. Oh, I do want to thank the department heads, by the way, before we go very far. First, I want to thank Chip for being live again tonight. Well, not just for Chip being live, but the broadcast being live tonight. We also want to thank the department heads. In case you have not watched the previous meeting, we asked the department heads to have their budgets in place to Alyssa and myself by New Year's Eve, and all departments did so. So thank you very much. It's going to go a long way for us to get a jump on next year's budget a little bit earlier than we did in the past. New business. Under new business, Labella proposal from Michael Colquitt.
He passed out a proposal, and he gave it to us at the last workshop.
Right.
You know, my personal feeling is that is not money well spent, so I would not pursue this proposal.
Where are we gonna get the money?
Yeah, no, that's what I said, I wouldn't pursue it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I would pass on that.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, I know Alyssa has been looking for grants, and she continues to do that work. So,
Number 2, application for feasibility study with the city of Dunkirk.
So we talked about that at the last meeting.
Right.
And, yeah.
I think, trustee Syracuse, did you ask me to put this on here, or am I mistaken?
No, I asked you for the last one.
Okay.
So anyway, Alyssa's working with the attorney for Dunkirk, filling out the application for the grant.
And finally, any other new business to be brought before the board from the trustees?
I actually have something that I've been investigating. There's a company called Obvio, O-B-V-I-O, and what they do is they provide some technology to help residents in our village make the streets safer. For example, speeding or turning or lane change issues, various maybe things that are unsafe. And this is not to override what our police protection is doing in the village, but it's more of an auxiliary. So I'm going to have a Zoom meeting with this company later this week, just explore a little bit and see if it's viable for our community. It's a pilot project they're offering, and I'll know more about it next meeting, but I just want to mention that.
Thank you. Old business, local law for licensed cannabis dispensaries.
Who wanted that on the agenda? Anybody? Because we talked about this
We
last
talked
time.
about having some type of law, so we
Right,
don't necessarily end up with 20 dispensaries.
But what happened was, it was determined by the committee that with the fiscal restraint we're on, that we decided it was not a good time to ask Melanie to develop a law. Because there didn't seem to be any need for it at the time, and there still doesn't seem to be one. I'm not saying one is not gonna be needed in the future, but at this point, we talked about it and decided not to move forward with it.
Is that dispensary still going to go forward then?
That's a good question.
We haven't heard anything
No.
since the last discussion. I will say that you as a board are allowed to formulate language of a board, of a resolution for a law, if you feel that that's in the best interest of having it, and without having to go through legal counsel. That's up to you.
Well, I think that they have to go through legal no matter what we thought they would have to, yeah.
Mayor,
Yes?
I have spoke to the gentleman that wants to put in the store here. I've spoken to his maintenance guy, what was required and stuff. So they will have to give a building permit. So I know they're evacuating some of the businesses there now to go forward with it. I wanted to talk to you about it, because I think you have more knowledge than I do about it.
I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Any other old business?
Well, you had summer music series on there.
Right, discussion of the summer music series, whether it's going to go Wednesday or Friday. We need a final vote so we can start booking activities for those days.
I think we were all in agreement that Friday was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if we're going to, and we talked about it last year and didn't do anything about it. Talked about it the year before and didn't do anything about it. Changing or adopting a new food truck law.
Actually, I did speak with Chuck about that, and he said we could just add a few sentences in there without really changing the law.
Thought we were gonna do that.
Food truck.
Yeah, but I guess we had discussed the fees.
Oh, the fees, okay.
Graduating fees, or
Oh,
however that was gonna
right.
happen. I mean, it's not gonna be long before, we're starting to get inquiries, and we need to know exactly what it is,
Put it
we'll
in
be
place
charging.
before.
Yeah,
What are we charging now?
150. Chuck, what were you telling me about, just if somebody wanted to have a food truck, just for a couple of days, how that wouldn't work, right? I mean, it's...
No, not really. The fee thing has been a lot of contention since we started this law.
Right.
yeah.
We went from 800 to 500 to it's just, every year it's something different. So I just wish we could put it to rest and be done with it. But I have no suggestions on it. Just keep it simple for me, please. So I don't want to have to reinvent the wheel on it.
Well, I think one of the things that we did want to add was the no overnight parking if you're not part of an
Right.
event. So there are a couple things that
Well, we did that already.
We added that onto the.
We did do it, but it will be done.
Yeah.
The food truck permits run till March 31st.
Okay,
April 1st is when they have to reapply.
okay.
April 1st, it'll be on that application that they have to be out by 10 o'clock, I think you said.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So, I think I want to suggest that at our next meeting, we hammer that out. We get some solid figures where we're going to start charging, because I don't want the applications to come in and we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah,
And
I
then
agree.
whoever's responsible for responding, if they're asking what's it going to cost me, well, I'm not sure the board hasn't decided yet, so. At our next meeting, let's make a final decision.
Determination.
Yeah, let's do that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Is
let's
that
throw
what
that
the
out
planning board or
there.
the village board can do this?
Well, I think at this point, the planning board is done, right?
Oh, yeah, I can go back, but it's just up to you what you want to do. If you want to do it, or if you want the planning board to look at the fees or whatever.
No, I think we can do that, yeah, because the fees aren't associated with the law.
Okay. Is there anything else under old business?
Yes, I just wanted to update the trustees that Paul and I did have our first cable board meeting, and we looked at the recreation director's room, and they felt it was best to have the cable board be relocated there. And I know the mayor was in favor of it too, because he and I both looked at the room. And I have spoken to Kayla Sullivan about it, and she's good with being moved downstairs. We'll be moving her in Alyssa's old room. And that will take place the week of February 10th.
Keep
But
in mind
the
that
meantime-
the Opera House
The Opera House,
is replacing
right.
all the seats during the month of February, so there's no programming during the month of February.
So we can kind of figure out where we're gonna move things to make space. I just wanted to update the
Be nice to-
trustees on that.
Be nice to put that one to bed.
I'm sorry, what
Be
was
nice to
that?
put that one to bed after all this.
Yes,
Yeah.
finally,
Yeah.
finally.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't have anything else, can I have a motion to end the workshop?
We don't need one.
We'll just go right into the regular.
Okay, well, I would need a 3-minute break so we
Yeah,
can
we
start
do
at
that.
7 o'clock. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Village Hall in Fredonia, New York for tonight's Board of Trustees meeting, January 6th, 7 p.m. I'm Mayor Mike Ferguson. We're calling the meeting to order at 7:01. Roll call for the trustees. Trustee Esperson.
Here.
Trustee Brockler.
Here.
Trustee Twitchell.
Here.
Trustee Wendell?
Here.
And I know trustee Syracuse is here, so
There she goes.
there she is.
Just say here.
What?
Say here.
Here.
We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we go any further, Trustee Esperson, can I have you up front? We have some awards to present tonight. And what I'd like to do, this is something brand new. When we were at NICOM, the New York Conference of Mayors and Municipal Officials had decided that it's time to recognize employees who've been with a municipality for more than 25 years. And we are proud to say that we have a number of people who qualify for that. It says, since 1961, the Conference of Mayors has annually honored public officials who served a single community for 25 years or more, awarding them a certificate of public service. The privilege of presenting the actual certificate is reserved for each municipality, thereby affording you the opportunity to extend this recognition and appreciation to the individuals with whatever formality you consider appropriate. The Conference of Mayors is pleased that the Village of Fredonia, along with many other municipalities, have chosen to honor these individuals. We're joining you in congratulating these municipal officers and officials who have dedicated themselves to public service. That was signed by Barbara Epps, the Executive Director of NICOM. So with that, we'll start with not the oldest employee, but the one who's had the most years. And Ron Syracuse, Water Department, please come up. If you'd like to have your wife join here, you can do that as well. For those of you who may not recognize Ron, you probably weren't around when your meters were getting read. For the rest of you, you wonder the guy who runs up on your lawn, and that's who it is. But Ron, congratulations. Thanks, we appreciate everything that you do. There you go. Normally, in the original budget, we were going to give everybody a new car, but unfortunately, as you know, we cut that out.
I'll wait for it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Our next official is the Chief of Police for the Fredonia Police Department. We're proud to give this 25-year recognition to Chief David Price. Police department must be a great place to work in because we've got two 25-year employees. And please welcome Gregory Myers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And this gentleman, I didn't get a chance to read. His department head wrote a glowing report about him. And virtually everybody who has met this man has told me how wonderful he's been, not only to the community, but to his fellow workers, and how much they appreciate him. So from a wastewater treatment plant, Dave says he basically runs the plant all by himself. Please welcome Kenny Porter, 25 years. Thank you, Kenny. Congratulations. And finally, this gentleman, also from the police department, who's recently retired. He came back from Hawaii just for this,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. Was also one of the school safety officers for years as well, and also ran what was the DARE program for many years. I know my kids benefited from it. Please welcome Robert Tracy. Once again, these are individuals who put in extraordinary amount of time and dedication to the community. For those of you who are watching, they gave thankless hours of time and effort and are always at the forefront of getting things done in the community. We appreciate your time, we appreciate your efforts, and I know the community does too. So a round of applause, please, for these. Next year we'll have cars and things like this. Congratulations, everybody. Oh, thank you. The approval of minutes, please. You don't have those tonight, all right. Even better, faster. Public portion.
This portion of the meeting is for public comment. Any member of the public wishing to speak, once recognized, shall stand at the microphone and state their name and address. Speakers will be allowed 3 minutes of speaking for themselves or 5 minutes of speaking on behalf of a group. I will ask the speakers to refrain from remarks that are in poor taste, slanderous, or not germane to any action taken or contemplated by the board.
Thank you. James Linden, Fredonia.
Good evening. I see on your agenda, seeing a resolution to address terms of office of the treasurer and clerk. And you're going by the village law of New York State. Now, according to our charter, you'd have to actually have a village law enacted to change the way you work right now, because our charter preempts the state, even though the charter does state that we recognize village law 3-302 as far as our elections, but we don't even go by that for your terms. So, as you know, your terms are 4 years, and that's because your charter takes precedence. So, under the charter, it was, let's see, here's appointed officers, section 3-3004. That's a local law, even though it's written just very minor the way it's done. That these positions are annual positions, and they are worked by the pleasure of the board. You'd still have to change the local law to make that happen. So you'd have to have a public hearing to do that. The other thought tonight was about the finances of the village. I stood here before this board earlier this year when you passed a budget, and I had really pointed out places, what things and areas that you needed to address before you approved your budget. Your budget has many recurring expenses that you newly added to the budget in positions and wages and other areas that are recurring, and you still ended up raising the taxes on top of that and using fund balance. You put yourselves in this position. You put the village in this position. It's a sad day that we're where we are today. You didn't have to do that. You could have listened. You could have addressed that prior to this with the position. I said that this budget wasn't sustainable. 6 months in, it's not sustainable. You aren't listening to the public. I was not the only one that came before this board to speak. Others did. And you're doing the same thing with the water. So many issues with the water. And you want to go in business with other communities that have financial disasters on their doorstep, or actually they're in the middle of them. It makes no sense. There was somebody here recently at your previous board tried to make a parallel between big businesses and municipalities. Well, I'm sorry, there isn't any. Big business is in for profits for themselves and their shareholders. Village operates for services of the people. I could go on, but my time is up.
That ends tonight's public portion. We'll be closing the public portion. Correspondence. There's no correspondence for tonight. Any board members have correspondence? If not, mayor's report. We'll start with December 31st. We had Fredonia's first ever New York New Year's Eve ball drop, which was held at the White Inn. I'd like to thank Dan Pecos and the Town of Pomfret Board for helping us produce this along with our board. It was the first drop of the historic White Inn. I'd also like to thank the White Inn's owners, Steve St. George and Devin Jones, for their cooperation, along with their manager, Robin. Thanks also goes out to the Fredonia Fire Department for lowering the ball, and trustee John Esperson for braving some low-level fireworks that night. I'd also like to thank Harvest Chapel and Pastor Jim LaBar for allowing us to use their portable sound system. No taxpayer dollars were used for this event. The expenses came from both Supervisor Pecos and myself. We would also like to thank Mr. Ruffino for his construction of the ball, of which, once again, there was no charge for that, and thank him for his cooperation with Supervisor Pecos on getting that done. Mr. Ruffino is not only part of the Lakeshore Central School System, but also is a local artist. On December 31st, we held the first round of discussions with members of the Fredonia Police Department on their PVA contract, which is due by April of this year. I want to thank their union representatives for initiating the discussion with us. On December 23rd, I held a preliminary discussion with Mayor Kate and her attorney, as well as possible consolidation of both Fredonia and Dunkirk Fire and Police Departments. We agreed to meet again in the next 2 weeks to explore possibilities further. On the 21st of December, my wife Diane and I attended the Koch Foundation Christmas party, where we had the opportunity to meet with family and children who benefit from this program. Their offices are located on Central Avenue. On December 20th, I worked with staff on my selections for the 2025 Board of Trustees committee assignments, which I'll be announcing just shortly. The first list of assignments and board personnel will be on our official website sometime tomorrow. Just so everybody is aware of those committees, we will go through those. Myself will be working with the Zoning and Code Enforcement Board, Business Development Planning Board, Consolidation Committee. We'll also be working with the Town of Pomfret, SUNY Fredonia, Citizens Advisory Board, and also Festivals Fredonia. Deputy Mayor John Esperson is Public Works, which includes Water, Sewer, and DPW, Business Development, Fire, Police, Grants Committee, which will be new to our committees, Consolidation Committee, and liaison to the Embrace Fredonia, SUNY Fredonia, and Personnel Committee. Trustee Michelle Twitchell will continue with Parks and Recreation, and return to the Fire Department, Finance and Insurance. As you heard, Cable Television Board, which already had their first meeting, the Opera House, Parker Library, Fredonia Historical Museum, and the Safe Streets Committee, and liaison as she has been to the Farmers Market. Trustee Nicole Syracuse will work with Public Works, Water, Sewer, DPW, Personnel Committee, Grants Committee, Police Department, Parks and Recreation, Safe Streets, liaison to Embrace Fredonia. Trustee Paul Wendell, Personnel Committee, Public Works, Zoning and Code Enforcement, Planning Board, Fire, liaison to Fredonia State, and Safe Streets. Trustee Ben Brockler, on Zoning and Code Enforcement, Finance and Insurance, Business Development, Grants Committee, Fire, liaison to the Farm Festival, and Festivals Fredonia. On December 20th, we talked about that, December 18th, I attended a meeting of the New York Film Industry Committee, sharing opportunities in New York State for directors, producers of documentaries, along with both television and movie companies, and the opportunities that historic communities such as ours might have in the near future to work with those groups. On the 16th, I, along with a number of our trustees, were invited to discuss the upcoming Pomfret water study with members of the Labella engineering team. As the study moves closer to a start time, once launched, we are hoping to have the results of the two engineering groups sometime in April or May of this year. December 15th, my wife and I were guests at the Fredonia Opera House annual Christmas party and holiday party, which took place on stage in the beautiful Opera House. As you may have read in the paper, the Opera House will be replacing their current seats in the month of January, with a number of seats being donated to the Fredonia Historical Museum for display. On the 15th, I was asked to speak and attend the annual Wreath Across America ceremony at Forest Lawn Cemetery. The Wreath Across America program dedicated hundreds of cemeteries across the United States and paid tribute to the men and women who served this great country by laying a wreath at their grave. Over 60 wreaths were laid as volunteers and former military retirees trudged through the snow to pay honor to our warriors. I want to thank area military organizations for the invitation. It's truly an honor to have participated. Later that day, we also attended the Fredonia Volunteer Firefighters Christmas event. Finally, I want to thank the over 100 employees who work for you, the village residents of Fredonia, for their tireless and thankless dedication to this wonderful community. From Anne-Marie, Alyssa, Kara on the first floor to Christine in the courts, our police, our fire, our DPW, water treatment and waste treatment water plants. Every single individual who keeps this village running 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I would also like to thank the 5 individuals to my left, the Board of Trustees who work hard with a heart to do the right thing for this village. Michelle Twitchell, Paul Wendell, Nicole Syracuse, Ben Brockler, and Deputy Mayor and Trustee John Esperson. I thank you, and I wish all of you a Happy New Year 2025. That is the end of my report. Trustees' reports. Trustee Brockler.
Well, I'm going to say nothing at this time.
Okay. Trustee Esperson.
Yeah, I had a little sit down with David Felt to discuss a item that was in a 2018, I think, merge report from the county, and they talked about specifically Duncan Fredonia collaborating to divert sludge from the landfill. The engineers suggested that we look at developing a composting facility. So I wanted to speak to Dave and get his thoughts on that. I called Department of Health, and they said that the DEC would have to be involved. So I'd asked Dave just to give it some further thought to see if he thought it was something that was feasible, that'd be worth our while. It would save us the cost of, Alyssa gave me a figure of $25,000 we spend annually taking our sludge up to the transfer station. So that is an ongoing project, and Dave and I'll get together and talk about that soon sometime. I met with the WCA home officials and an organization interested in occupying the home. Follow-up discussions are going to happen. Something that we should have brought up earlier, we were all emailed recommendations of increase EMS billing. So I would like to put that on the agenda at our next meeting, please. And lastly, when we voted at our last meeting, workshop, I guess, regarding the seeker, there were some questions asked, and I would like to, I got answers to those questions. One of them was who is going to be the lead agency, and the answer is, per the 2020 seeker handbook, we cannot assign our responsibility as lead agency, so we have to assume that we would be the lead agency in any seeker that we order. There was a question of why there was no mention of the cost or how long it would take. Those are not included because whoever is performing the seeker is not going to know that until they get involved in it and see what the actual scope would be. So they're not going to give us a time frame or a cost that they can't possibly meet. So I just wanted to pass that along. That's all I had.
Thank you. Trustee Twitchell.
As I said before, I'm happy to report that we will be moving along with our new cable room, and I know Chip's quite happy about that. And Paul Wandel and I, both Trustee Wandel and I, attended the meeting, and we had a great discussion. And we're looking forward to getting that move done. And hopefully from DPW, Scott, I would like to have some help with moving some of the furniture that's in the room over here. Once we get to that point, okay, we can work that out. And I just wanted to report that the Barker Museum is planning to have their 200th celebration of Lafayette's visit coming to Fredonia. And I did speak with the mayor about that, and they're working out. There's going to be a 3-day celebration, and more of that information will be forthcoming And that's all I have to report at this time.
Thank you. Trustee Syracuse.
I as well attended the White Inn for the New Year's Eve celebration, so thank you to everyone involved in that. Congratulations to our employees who have been here and served our village for a long time. We greatly appreciate all of you. Thank you to the mayor for our committee appointments. We need to schedule a special meeting to discuss the PBA contract, so if everybody could send over to Urlissa their availability for the rest of the week. And if we could get something scheduled by like Wednesday, that would be great. That's all I have. Thank you.
That's it. Last but certainly not least, Trustee Wendell.
Thank you, Mayor. January 1st, met with Trustee Twitchell, as she had mentioned, on the Cable Committee for working with the Cable Board. We have some new people joining the Cable Board. And discussion was had regarding equipment, studio production locations, as was already stated, and next steps for activities for productions. Personnel Committee, we met on December 31st, Trustee Syracuse, myself with the Fredonia PBA, just to discuss current contract negotiations. And then lastly, I had some commentary and just want to report, we had a luncheon at the new White Inn, and it was featuring the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce. And they had their annual meeting on Friday the 13th this past month. A guest speaker spoke to all of us, and her name was Leslie Zemski. You may have heard of her. Leslie and her husband, Howard, are presidents of the Larkin Development Group in Buffalo. Their collective efforts have transformed an unlikely neighborhood in South Buffalo into what is now known as, you may have heard of it, Larkinville. Their message heralds, find what you are looking for in Larkin, where you can live, work, and play. That project developed largely through private investment and long-range planning. Over time, a new tradition was birthed that offered live music, food trucks, and hundreds of people on regular Tuesday evenings in the summertime. With free parking and a welcoming, safe venue, something new was happening. In the words of Leslie Zemski, we call it, quote-unquote, holistic development. To me, this was the perfect message of inspiration and success created by a team in South Buffalo that had a vision. Over time, it developed through collaboration, partnering, and simply working together. The Zemski team proved that stronger together really works. They renewed a forgotten neighborhood into the shining success of Larkinville that it is today. As a former long-term Buffalonian, and now as a current and committed resident of the village, I want to share and feed off of that success. The Zemski model and track record clearly shows that we too in Fredonia can build a similar string of victories. To summarize, let's create and catch a vision, run with it, group together to make it happen, and let the transformation begin. Fredonia too can do this. To summarize, to me, however, it is not just creating a new venue for socialization and enjoyment. No, it's far more. It is elevating what we have and who we are. Let's look at all of what we have in this village and realize the great potential here. Our future is up to us collectively. Much of the Buffalo Renaissance came through careful planning, hard work, and time. Let's be inspired and challenged. Now is our time. This is our opportunity for growth and success. May 2025 be the year, and Fredonia and New York be that place. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I do have one letter that I read at a previous workshop prior to, we didn't have a meeting to present it to. But it says, Dear Mayor Ferguson, the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, Non-Agricultural, Non-Point Source Planning, and MS4 Mapping Grant Program provides important support to communities to plan for the protection and restoration of water resources. DEC is proud to have made up to $3 million available for this year's consolidated funding application. We appreciate your application for this vital program. We are pleased to inform you that dam safety improvements have been selected to receive up to $37,500 from the NPG program. We applied for those fundings and were awarded them. I would like to thank Alyssa for that application. And I want to thank the Department of Environmental Conservation in New York State for those monies. So we continue to maintain our dam program and make sure it stays safe for our residents. With that, there's no other business tonight. I'm going to ask for a motion to end tonight's meeting.
The resolutions that we have to
Oh,
pass?
you got resolutions you have to pass. Okay. I'm getting ahead of myself here, folks.
Yes.
Just slightly.
We have several pages still to get through.
Oh, I'll do it next meeting.
Is there a treasurer's report?
There's no treasurer's report tonight. Go ahead with resolutions.
All right. Be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia hereby schedules a public hearing on the 21st day of January 2025 at 5 p.m. at the Trustees Room, 2nd floor, Village Hall, Fredonia, New York, to receive comments from the public regarding the Village of Fredonia's proposed local law number 1 of 2025 entitled Local Law Opting Out of the Exemption from Taxation under Section 487 of the Real Property Tax Law for the Village of Fredonia. Be further resolved that the village clerk is hereby directed to publish said notice of said hearing pursuant to village law. It's short, so I'll read it. This local law should be entitled Local Law Opting Out of the Exemption from Tax under Section 487 of the Real Property Tax Law for the Village of Fredonia, being enacted by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia as follows. Section 1, purpose. The state of New York has adopted an exemption from taxation for certain solar, wind energy, farm waste energy systems under Section 487 of the Real Property Tax Law of the state of New York. The law further provides that a village may provide that no exemption under this section shall be applicable within the jurisdiction by adopting a local law to that effect. The Village Board of Trustees, the Village of Fredonia hereby wishes to adopt such a law. Section 2, opting out of Section 487 of the Real Property Tax Law. Section 487 of the Real Property Tax Law of the State of New York exempting from taxation certain solar, wind energy system or farm waste energy system shall not be applicable nor available to such real property within the Village of Fredonia, Stock County, New York. It is the express intention of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia in adopting this local law to exercise the opt-out provision afforded to local municipalities by Section 487 so that the exemption for real property taxation for solar, wind energy systems or farm waste energy systems shall not apply nor be available within the Village of Fredonia, Stock County, New York. Section 3, this law shall be effective immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State.
Second.
Trustee Rockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
So passed.
Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia hereby schedules a public hearing on the 21st day of January 2025 at 5:30 p.m. in the Trustees Room, 2nd floor, Village Hall, Fredonia, New York, to receive comments from the public regarding the Village of Fredonia's proposed local law number 2 of 2025 entitled A Local Law Regulating the Installation, Placement of Solar Equipment and Systems in the Village of Fredonia, and be it further resolved that the village clerk is hereby directed to publish said notice of said hearing pursuant to village law.
Second.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Passed.
Be resolved that the request of Village Trustees John Esperson, Michelle Twitchell, Nicole Syracuse, Ben Rockler, Paul Wendell, and Mayor Mike Ferguson to attend the Lycoming Winter Legislative Meeting February 2nd, 4th, 2025 at the Marriott Albany is hereby approved. The cost of the conference will be covered by each individual attending. This conference is sponsored by the New York State Conference of Mayors.
Second.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
We gotta go back.
I was gonna say, I think we missed.
Yeah, we missed one.
Page 8.
Oh, there we go.
Thanks for trying to get me out of this, John. But, whereas the Board of Trustees for the Village of Fredonia are authorized by Chapter 63, Section 1D to determine the rules of the procedures for the conduct of its meetings, and whereas the board believes the standardization and adherence to a policy concerning the submission of resolutions will increase discussion and communication while affording the trustees and the public their right to speak, now therefore be it resolved that the Village Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia hereby adopts the following procedures regarding the submission and creation of all resolutions. 1. Any resolution being submitted for placement on the agenda of a regularly scheduled or special meeting of the board shall be submitted to the village clerk no later than 1 p.m. on the Monday or week prior said to the meeting. 2. Complete on and final agendas shall be placed in trustee mailboxes and available to the public on both the website and in hard copy no later than 12 a.m. on the Thursday or 4 days prior to said board meeting. 3. Resolutions placed on the agenda after the deadline shall meet the following criteria to be included or considered for action. A. The action must have a financial impact on the village, positive or negative, and require an action that must be taken prior to the next meeting date. Or B. Have an immediate effect on the health and or safety of the citizens of the village. 4. During the workshop prior to the regular meeting, trustees shall have the opportunity to discuss any proposed resolution along with any other village business. If a member of the public wishes to comment or address the board at the workshop, they will need board approval. 5. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to speak on any action taken or contemplated by the board during the public comment portion of the regular meeting, subject to the following rules, which shall be read at each meeting immediately prior to the opportunity for the public to comment. A. This portion of the meeting is for public comment. Any member of the public wishing to speak, once recognized, shall stand and state their name and address. B. Speaker will be allowed 3 minutes if speaking for themselves or 5 minutes if speaking on behalf of a group. The mayor will determine in his or her discretion if individuals are speaking for themselves or representing a group. C. The mayor shall keep good order and may require a speaker to stop speaking if remarks are in poor taste, slanderous, or not germane to any action taken or contemplated by the board. D. During the meeting, once a resolution has been proposed and seconded, each trustee shall be given the opportunity to publicly state their position regarding the proposed resolution. Once all trustees in attendance have had the opportunity to be heard, a roll call vote will be conducted.
Second.
Trustee Esperson? Aye. Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Be it resolved that the Observer, West 2nd Street, Jamestown, New York, is hereby designated the official newspaper of the Village of Fredonia for the year beginning January 1st, 2025, and ending December 31st, 2025.
Sorry, 26.
No, that's right.
25.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that would be-
Second.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Be resolved that the following banks pursuant to Village Law, Section 4.4 are hereby designated the official banks for the Village of Fredonia for the year beginning January 1st, 2025 and ending December 31st, 2025. Manufacturers and Traders Trust Company, 1 East Main Street, Fredonia, New York. MBIA Municipal Investor Service Corporation, Denver, Colorado. JP Morgan Chase and Company of New York, New York.
Second.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Be it resolved that the following appointed officials and employees are hereby appointed or reappointed to their respective positions and at their present salaries and benefits or salary and benefits as modified by board resolution or budget adoption for the ensuing official year commencing January 6th, 2025 and ending January 6th, 2026 unless sooner removed from office or employment as provided by the charter or other applicable law. Chief Inspection Officer, Building Inspector, Zoning Enforcement Officer, Chuck LaBarbera. Parks and Recreation Director, Kayla Sullivan. Receiver of Taxes, Alyssa LeBeau. Street Supervisor / Commissioner, Scott Marsh. Associate Village Justice, Nancy Dietzen. Police Chief, David Price. Records Management Officer, Anne Marie Johnston. Fire Chief, Joshua Myers. Be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees further reserves all rights under the Charter and Section 75 of the Civil Service Law for removal or other disciplinary action for any past or future acts or conduct of employees or officers of the village which may fall within the purview of Section 75 of the Civil Service Law or the Charter.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
For this next one on the term of office, do we want to go ahead with this, folks?
We
There's
did
been
2
some,
years ago. in 2023.
This is, okay, we
Yeah.
have done this in the past.
Yes.
Okay, whereas Village Charter, Village Section 3B states that term of office shall be as provided by Village Law 3-302, whereas Village Law 3-302, Section 3 states that except as otherwise provided herein or in this chapter, the term of office for mayor, each trustee, treasurer, and clerk shall be 2 official years, and whereas there is no provision under Village Law 3-302 that applies to the appointment terms for village treasurer, and whereas the Board of Trustees has determined that the village treasurer appointment is a 2-year term pursuant to village charter and village law, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees amends the appointment of Alyssa LeBeau as village treasurer to a 2-year term which commences on January 6, 2025, ending on January 6, 2027.
Second.
Isn't there a mistake here about appointments of the mayor and each trustee?
It was,
It says,
it was citing the law.
If I may, if you don't mind. Yeah, she's correct, it's citing the law, but it should reflect, you should have a statement that whereas the village charter states the new, where it was amended to
4 years, right?
yeah, to 4 years. And then said such through. I mean, if you want to go through.
doesn't it cover that in except as and otherwise provided herein, that statement?
So that was the one that was used earlier.
I mean, our
Yeah.
attorney thoroughly did this.
This is the same,
These resolutions.
this is the same resolution we passed every year.
Right.
Every 2 years,
Yeah,
correct.
every 2 years for a period of time.
We're not
So-
using it to appoint ourselves, we're using it to
Just
appoint the
seems
treasurer.
confusing to me.
Was it confusing 2 years ago when we voted on it? I guess, it's the
No.
same
I
thing we
guess so.
voted on 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years. Every
Yeah.
2 years we get appointed? Or
No, this is strictly for the
It
treasurer.
says except as otherwise provided here in this
In this
chapter. Yeah.
Well, that was my question. If no one agrees
Okay.
with me, I guess we'll move on.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Whereas Village Charter, Village Section 3B states that the term of office shall be approved by village law and 3-302, and whereas Village Law, Section 3-302-3 states that except as otherwise provided herein or in this chapter, the term of office of mayor, each trustee, treasurer, and clerk shall be 2 official years, and whereas there is no other provision under Village Law, Section 3-302 that applies to the appointment terms for the village clerk, and whereas the Board of Trustees has determined that the village clerk appointment is a 2-year term pursuant to the village charter and village law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees amends the appointment of Anne Marie Johnston as village clerk to a 2-year term which commences on January 6th, 2025, ending on January 6th, 2027.
Second.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Whereas the village required the repairs to the 2017 Freightliner used in removal of snow at the DPW, and whereas Rexford Services, Dunkirk, New York, provided a quote for the replacement of the rear differential, as well as multiple other parts in the amount of $9,650.91, and whereas repairs were necessary for the village's purpose, therefore be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes the payment of $9,650.91 to Rexford Services Incorporated for the repairs of the 2017 Freightliner.
Second?
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye. Be resolved that the regular and overtime payrolls of the various village departments and bills approved by the Finance Committee and set forth in abstract number 737 through 744 are hereby approved and directed paid and available in the village clerk's office, 911 Church Street, Fredonia, New York.
Second.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Be it resolved that the training request of fire chief to travel outside of Chautauqua County for the purpose of attending the Arlington Fire District meeting in Poughkeepsie, New York, Tuesday, January 14 to 15, 2025, at a cost not to exceed $185 is hereby authorized.
Second?
Trustee Rockler?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
There's no reason to go into executive session. I want to remind everyone that the next scheduled meeting of the Fredonia Board of Trustees workshop and board meeting will take place Tuesday, January 21st, as Monday is Martin Luther King Day holiday. So that would be Tuesday, January 21st, 2025, 6 p.m. in this very room, second floor, Village Hall, with the board meeting to follow. I have a motion to end this session.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a good new year, and thank you to everyone who attended tonight. We congratulate once again our trustees and our employees who have served 25 years or more. We thank them for their continued services, and have a great evening.